You ever wonder what a $50 million mistake sounds like? Not the noise it makes when it breaks down, oh. I mean the laughter, the snickering, the backhanded jokes that echo through a place like Apex Engineering every time someone's pride is threatened by a truth they're too arrogant to face. My name's Kesha Williams, and I've got a story for you, a story about what happens when a bunch of experts forget that sometimes the person you least expect is the only one who can actually fix the mess you made. It started, as these things always do, with a joke. Hey, princess, how about cleaning properly this time? Is your father as sloppy as you are? That was Derek Thompson, the self-appointed king of the lab, voice slick as oil, surrounded by his court of engineers guys with badges, degrees, and enough attitude to fill a stadium. I kept my head down, wiping the workbench, acting like I didn't notice the sneers or the laughter, but every word landed like a slap. You see, that Ingenia hulking monster parked in the middle of the lab hadn't roared in a decade. 10 years. $50 million spent, and still nothing but a big, expensive paperweight. But the real joke? These so-called experts didn't know that a little cleaning lady had spent 2 years watching their every failed attempt, memorizing what they missed, holding her own pain in silence. Seriously, guys, Derek went on, playing to the crowd. Do you think she even knows what she's looking at? Or is she just pretending to impress someone? Michael Chun, the senior supervisor, jumped in. She's probably never seen a machine that wasn't a vacuum cleaner. The laughter hit harder than any insult. Brad Mitchell, always hungry for attention, started recording on his phone, "Cleaner tries to understand engineering." He said it'd go viral in the office. You know what I mean? Viral. Like humiliation was just another way to pass the time. I won't lie, it stung. Especially after my dad had a heart attack working in this place. Stress will do that to a man, especially when he's invisible. But what those engineers didn't know was that I'd grown up in my grandpa's auto shop, learning the language of engines before I could even reach the pedals. Engines are like people, Grandpa Sam always said. When they hurt, they scream. But you gotta listen with your heart to know where it's coming from. While they wasted millions, I watched, I listened, and I waited. It wasn't enough for them to tease, they made it a campaign. Spilled coffee accidentally left on my desk, trash tossed in my path, loud jokes about people who don't know their place. Jennifer Walsh from HR slid over with a fake concerned voice. "We've had complaints about you approaching technical equipment." It could be interpreted as sabotage. The message was clear: keep your head down or you're out. I went home each night to my tiny apartment, scrubbing floors by day, replaying their laughter by night, clinging to Grandpa Sam's old tools and the memory of afternoons spent fixing up his ancient Chevy. By Thursday, they cranked it up another notch. Let's see if our cleaning expert can identify 3 basic engine parts. Mitchell smirked, waving his phone for another round of humiliation. $50, says she can't tell a piston from a valve. For a moment, I almost let it go. Almost. But sometimes you gotta let the truth slip out, even if your voice shakes. 6-cylinder inline pistons, dual intake valves, electronic fuel injection, faulty pressure sensor on line 3. I rattled off, locking eyes with each of them. Silence. You ever hear the air get heavy? That's what it sounds like when pride gets sucker punched by reality. Beginner's luck, Mitchell stammered, but I could see the uncertainty. They try to brush it off, double down, whisper about cameras and sabotage. But underneath I saw a fear. Not of me, exactly, but of what I represented. That someone like me might know something they didn't. Friday came, and so did their last-ditch effort to put me in my place. Derek filmed me while I wiped oil from the engine, narrating for an audience. Look at her concentration. Bet she's calculating air pressure based on the moon. The video blew up in the office now. I was the punchline, the main act. Even Amanda Foster, the marketing director, cracked jokes about at least our cleaning equipment is interested in the job. All eyes on me, but none saw what mattered. I wasn't fixing anything. Yeti was cataloging, absorbing, learning. Every insult fueled the fire. Sunday, I found something buried in Grandpa's toolbox, a battered notebook filled with his scrawled notes. Engine problems always come down to 3 things: air, fuel, or spark. Machines don't lie, people do. I read every page, every diagram. soaking up 40 years of wisdom in one sleepless night. Monday, I walked into that lab different. They didn't notice bullies never do when you stop flinching. How about a real challenge? Derek grinned, thinking he was clever. If you can diagnose the problem, each of us pays you $100. If you can't, you're gone. 20 people showed up for the show popcorn, phones out, ready to watch me fail. I accept, I said, and the laughter was deafening until a voice from the back cut through. May I observe? It was Thomas Reed, a legend in the industry, old, wise, the only real engineer in the room. What's your name? He asked. Kesha Williams, I answered. Any relation to Samuel Williams? My heart skipped. He was my grandfather. Reed smiled, eyes crinkling. Sam taught me more about engines than any professor. If you got even half his talent, these boys are about to learn something. I approached the engine, hands steady. I really listen like Grandpa taught me. Feel that vibration? I asked, kneeling by the base. Clogged cooling system in the secondary line. The sensors only monitor the primary, so you missed it. Pressure valves calibrated for sea level, but you're 600 meters up wrong atmospheric pressure. And this control panel? State of the art, but never calibrated for this model, so you've been reading faulty data for years. Reed nodded, eyes wide. Of course. How do we miss that? The crowd went quiet, disbelief giving way to something like respect or at least awe. You want proof? I said, let's fix it. With Reed by my side, I made the adjustments, every move calm, precise, each explanation more humiliating for my former tormentors. Reed called out the numbers, pressure normal, temperature perfect, electrical systems finally responding. Jennifer Walsh tried to sneak out, but Reed stopped her. You owe this woman an apology, and so does the company. No one argued. And then, for the first time, I smiled not out of fear but pride. Would someone like to start the engine? Or should I? No one dared. So I pressed the ignition, and that monster roared to life, steady, powerful, like it was waking up from a bad dream. The green lights flashed, the room vibrated, and for the first time in 10 years, the impossible was done by someone they never even bothered to see. The aftermath? Well, let's just say karma keeps good books. Derek was fired after an audit revealed he'd been faking reports for years. Chun got demoted, Mitchell was exiled to Ohio. Walsh was let go when her part in the video went public. Apex paid fines, rolled out diversity training, and tried to scrub the scandal from the internet. Meanwhile, I was offered a job at Boeing by Reed himself. Within months, I was running my own division, saving the company millions, teaching engineers from all over the country that humility is the greatest tool in your kit. You want to know the real punchline? 9 months later, the same engine was running smoother than ever. A plaque beside it read, repaired by Kesha Williams, intuitive diagnostician. And those engineers? Last I heard, Derek was working in a neighborhood garage, learning the hard way what my grandpa always knew, that real knowledge isn't handed out with a diploma. It's earned, one scraped knuckle at a time. So, you tell me who's got the last laugh? If this story hit you somewhere deep, don't just move on. Drop a comment. What do you think? Is a degree worth more than wisdom? Or is it the other way around? Let's hear what you have to say, because if there's one thing this world needs, it's more people who listen in, a lot fewer who think they already know it all.